guys, hope everyone's doing good. Good news, as you can tell behind me, finally got some paint on this thing. Been working on it for a little while. If you've watched the last couple videos, painting it for a friend of mine. It's a 49 GMC pickup truck. And I'm still in the polishing stages right now, but turned out pretty good. It's not perfect by any means, but all the bodywork turned out nice. It's nice and straight. Paint laid down pretty decent. And like I say, just in the polishing stages right now, but almost got this thing out of my life. So pretty excited about that. I'll put some pictures up at the end of the video, just some pictures along the way of the whole paint process. If anyone's interested, I'll put them right at the end and you guys can check them out. So I did manage to get out for some testing, finally. I went to a Friday night test and tune. I just wanted to make 2 or 3 solid A to B passes. The turbo's still all new. The front shocks are all new. I really don't have much data on any of that. And I wanted to get the gear retard working, like I said in the last video. So getting the gear retard set up and working was a lot harder than I thought. I thought shouldn't be any big deal. I'll just go on YouTube and watch a video on how to do it and plug some numbers in there and away I go. But I was really surprised I could not find any info on it. So I'm going to show the passes and stuff right now. And I'll do a little demo afterwards how to set the gear retard up if that's what you're looking for. So basically, the little bit of data I do have on the shocks, I kind of think they're still loose. I think I set them about 7 or 8 from full tight. I figured I'd just try it there. I could always loosen them off. Tune-wise, I just put something in. I think I put something in that would probably run about a 560 or so. I just wanted to go down A to B. So this is the first pass. So car made nice clean, A to B pass all the way. Went like a 580, so a little bit slower than what I was shooting for. But the main thing was everything worked perfectly. The shocks were still a little bit loose, I think. The gear retard worked perfectly. So this was the tune. This was a 3,500 RPM leave. This was nothing crazy on boost ramp, basically not doing anything, basically on wastegates for the first little bit, and not really doing much till about 2 seconds. And timing wise, I was pulling 10 degrees and putting it back in over 2 seconds. And this is the data log. So it left at roughly 3.2 pounds of boost. I shifted first gear pretty low, 5,800, which I've been trying to shift it a little bit lower. And if I turn the ignition timing on here, so this is the timing getting knocked off at the launch. This is it coming back in. Right at the shift, you can see it drops off to, what was that there? I think it was a 31. Yeah, 31. So knocks it off to 27 almost. So I had 5 degrees coming out for half a second. So everything worked perfectly there. I do have a Davis like traction control box in the car. And these are just little corrections that it's making along the way. And so it pulled a little bit there too. But basically the gear retard worked perfectly. Made 15.4 up top. And the other thing that I wanted to look at on my A to B pass was my oil pressure. I'm still a little on the fence about if there's something going on with the engine. So I really want to keep an eye on that. So if you look at the oil pressure on that run, which is now this green one. So you can see that it made 66 right here on the trans brake. Kind of dipped up to 79 through first gear, second gear, 78. And at the end of the run, kind of dips down a little bit here, which looking back at a lot of old data logs, that's pretty normal for this thing. But it does drop down to about 70, 73 there. So it does lose a couple pounds, which looks to be pretty normal. Probably not 100% right, but I went back like 2 years looking at data logs. It gets to that one point and it kind of just dips down a little bit from there. So that one wasn't really concerning. So next pass, I tightened the front shocks up a little more. They still seemed a bit loose to me. And I started putting the timing in sooner. So this is my second test pass tune. I raised the launch RPM 50. And timing wise, I had it all back in by 1.8. So I think I maybe chopped a little bit out. I think I just kind of massaged it through here, nothing major. And this was the second pass. I really didn't step it up much more from the first pass. Just wanted another solid A to B pass. I think it picked up a little bit on the 60 foot. I think it went a 580 flat. And everything seemed to work good again. The launch retard's working good. The gear retard's working good. And on this one, the oil pressure on this one took a little bit more of a dip near the end. So you can see here on the trans brake, 64. Top of first gear, I shifted about the same, about 6,076 PSI oil pressure. Kind of maintained that for a bit. And then it did a pretty good dip right here, though. Like I say, it always kind of drops off here about 5 seconds or so into the run. And I don't know if that's just a capacity problem or what. I'm guessing it probably is. It did a pretty good dip right here. I think it went down to 58. Yeah, 59, sorry. Kind of jumps back up a little bit, 67. But that to me is a little bit concerning still. So I added half a quart of oil to it. And I tried to put a little bit more in it because the 60 foot on these passes are pretty slow. Like I said, I was just trying to go A to B. And I tightened the shocks up a little more. To me, they still look loose. So this is my third test pass tune. I went up another 100 RPM on the launch. I think I started bringing in nothing crazy, like half a pound of boost or something. Not much more. But timing-wise, I did try to step the timing up pretty good. So I still left it at 10, but I had it all back in by 1.2 or 1.4. So basically the car launched. It did pull the wheels a couple inches, probably 3, maybe 4 inches. Pretty quick though. To me, it's still way too quick and basically knocked the tires off. I kind of tried to drive through it, but it just didn't recover. I had to actually pedal it. So it did run the whole 8th mile. Really the main objective there was just see if the half quart of oil helped it. So this is the data log. You can see I had a big pedal in there, but basically made 63 PSI on the brake. It's really hard to tell top of first gear, but if you go here, 75, which is the same as the other ones. 74 there. And it did get better out here, I think. It's still 71 there. That's at like 5.5 seconds or so. It does a little dip here. Down to 64, and then kind of bounces back up to 71. So to me, I really think it is a capacity problem. I have about 2.5 extra quarts in it right now. So I probably have 9.5 quarts in the pan, plus the filter. It's a 7-quart pan. I think the problem is a couple of issues that are kind of compounding to what I've got here. And I'm really looking forward to getting the motor apart in the winter and try and fix this. So problem one is the drain backs in the heads are absolute crap, I think. I don't even know if they're like a 1/2 inch diameter, but it's not good. I really should have spent some time and tried to fix that before I put the heads on it. And problem two is I have a high pressure, high volume oil pump, and I really should have just went with the high pressure standard volume, because I think what's happening is it's basically just sucking the pan dry. It's all getting trapped up in the heads. It's just not making it back to the pan quick enough. So that's what I think's going on. I looked at a lot of data logs this week from the past 2 years, and it basically always starts dipping off like that. Some passes are better than others. I probably was running these out just a little bit past the 8th, maybe why it looks a little worse. But other than that, didn't learn a whole bunch, I guess. The new turbo is working. The tunes are close. The front shocks, I think, are still loose, which is pretty disappointing since I've already sent them back twice to get tightened up. Yeah, oil pressure, I'm still on the fence about that. But it was a good little test session. There's a race this weekend, big race. It's a 2 or 3 day race. It's at Grand Bend. It's on a straightaway on the road course, which I'm hoping to make it to. I got to get the car in. I want to check that oil filter again and a few other little things just to make sure it's okay to go. It's a pretty far trip, so I don't want to waste it. But I really just been focusing on getting this truck out of my life here. So at this point, let's run through how to set up the gear retard. So basically, I'll start with a global file that doesn't have any of the stuff set up. Start in the advanced table. You need to start with the setup. You need to put how many gears you got. I don't do anything with this or automatic gear. I don't do anything with the automatic gear resets. I just left it at the default. RPM drop for shift detect. So this you need to know how much your RPM drops when it shifts. And this is going to vary on car and converter and stuff. So for that one, I'd actually put it at 200 just to make sure it got it. I think the problem is if you got it set too low and it's and the RPM is dipping a little bit, it might think that it's a shift when it's actually not. But 200 to 300 seems to usually work pretty good for me. I used to do this with my old MSD box. And minimum RPM to detect a shift, that usually I keep around where I have my shift light set. So if I have my shift light at 6,000 or 65, I'd probably set this around like 58 or something. You could probably even go like 55, just so you know it's actually going to hit it. I don't know, there's probably more magic to that, but this worked for me. Then from there, I went to the 1D per gear table. I started a new table. You need to enable it so that you can modify it. And I labeled a gear retard. This will be a timing offset because you're going to be varying the timing with it. And on the x-axis, I went with time. For activation, for me, was a little tricky. You could do it at trans brake release or a couple different things. But actually, I'll show you. So if you do it at launch input enabled, you need to add that on your pin map, which if you have a Dominator or something, no problem. But I'm running an HP and all my stuff is full. So kind of limited on where I could go. So I got a little creative. I went switched enabled and I went, this table will be active when timing retard number 1 is enabled. So when it's on my timing retard table and it's working, this will be active as well. And from there, this is where I got a little messed up. So you need to change this for the gear you want to edit. So first thing I did was I went down here and I put them all to 10 seconds. You could definitely go way less than that. But I just was experimenting and 10 worked. So I did, oops, So I set all the gears, 1, 2, 3 to 10. And then first gear I didn't do anything with, obviously. So you'll see it'll change here, but first gear, second gear, third gear. So first gear I did nothing with. And second gear is really where I'm having trouble. So at second gear at 0 seconds. So you can add timing or you can take timing away. So I'm going to go negative. So I went -5. And I changed this to 0.5, the second number, but however long you want to pull it out for. So basically, it's going to pull 5 degrees for, I think I did it like this. I did 5 degrees for half a second, and then it ramps it back in over. So you can put that to 1. You could probably tighten this up a little bit, but like I say, I was just experimenting. So this would be 5 degrees out for half a second and just going back in over 1 second. So you can mess with that, put it wherever you want. And then if you wanted to add another one for third gear, you just change that to gear number 3. And then whatever you want to pull for third. I'm just making up numbers at this point, but it would be like that. And it would show up on the lower graph. So really not much to it. I got really messed up because I didn't see that. But keep in mind you can add or take timing away. But yeah, that's basically it. And then your activation, that's the only real tricky thing you might have to figure out. But for the most part, that's it. It is pretty easy. I just couldn't find a nice how-to video on how to do it. So if you're looking for one, here it is. We've all gotten pretty spoiled with YouTube and stuff where you can just go on and see exactly how to do stuff like this. So I was surprised that there wasn't one. That's how I did it. It worked for me. I still got to do more experimenting with it in an actual no prep scenario. So I think that's all I got for you guys. Yeah, gonna go over some stuff here, figure some things out. Might just see what I can do to maybe band-aid the shocks for now. Either maybe pull a bit of weight out of it, see if that helps. Just so it doesn't transfer so fast. But yeah, basically that's all I got for you guys. So if you liked the video, do me a favor, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button for me. If you got a comment, throw it up there. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for watching.